Hello and welcome to day 5 of Heart, where we are energizing and opening our heart space, which comprises not just the front part of the body, but the upper back body as well. So today we will be working on lots of binds to open up through the heart area. So let's get started in a seated position today. Find the legs crossed, kind of classically how you normally would, and then send the heels away from you a little bit so your shins are more parallel. Offer a very gentle flex into the feet and let the hands rest on the tops of the thighs. Fingers relax. If you notice that the knees creep up a lot, this might mean you have some tight hip flexors. Just take a blanket, a block, maybe a towel folded underneath the very back of the hips to give this anterior tilt of the pelvis, which can help let the hip flexors relax and the knees lower. I'll invite you to close the eyes, or you can soften your gaze towards the top of your mat. Take a slow inhale. Feel the chest rise. Open mouth release. Inhale, fill. Chest lifts to the sky. Let that grow your crown tall. Exhale, release. Knit the ribs in. One more inhale. Exhale. Seal the lips and find more natural rhythms of your breath. With every breath in, let the heart inflate a little more. And with every breath out, let the shoulders relax onto the back body. Keep the palms where they are and the eyes closed or soft. Begin to make some circles here. Circles with the body. Let the torso come into this movement as you find just a little bit of rounding through the mid-back and a little bit of arching here. And then we will switch directions. And pause and center. For this next round of breath to movement, this won't be quite as exaggerated, and I want you to keep it focused more so in the upper back. So start to lengthen through the arms as you activate through the fingertips. Press into the tops of your knees. Take an inhale as you press down through the palms. With that leverage, help lift the chest up as you squeeze the shoulder blades back. And on your exhale, keep the arms long still as you round through the upper back and shrug the shoulders forward, chin into chest. Inhale, we lift. So use the leverage of the hands on knees to lift the heart forward and through the shoulders. And exhale, use the same leverage there as resistance to round through the upper back. Continue to move at your pace. So this is a seated version of cat and cow, but not quite as generous as maybe we would normally find. And challenge yourself to go a little slower with this, especially if you're someone who likes to move quick. And on your next inhale, come on up into center. Let the hands fall forward and crawl them in front of your crossed legs to find a hip stretch. Keep the back body nice and long. Re-engage the sitting bones with your mat and let yourself pour forward as much as is possible. And once you can't find any more length, that's where you round in from the upper body and find some depth. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Begin to press yourself back up into a seat. Hands come behind you. Fingertips face in. Glue the base of your palms down. Wrap the elbows, the shoulder blades in towards each other. Press down through the hands so that the arms start to lengthen. As you push your heart up to the sky, maybe lean forward just a little bit while trying to keep the connection of the base of the palms to your mat. Chin stays in towards the chest, or you can bring the head a little more in line with the spinal column. Try not to let the head fall all the way back. This puts a lot of extension into the cervical spine. And then relax out of that intense front shoulder stretch. Switch the cross of your legs. So again, check in, make sure the cross is at the ankles. You have a little bit of space between your pelvis and the feet. Flex the toes and then push yourself forward. Hands come onto the knees and we start with the circles once again. Maybe this round you make them a little more exaggerated. And we switch direction. Then pause, come up into center, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, right hand comes down, left arm reaches overhead. Take an inhale, reach a little more. As you exhale, cactus the arm, slide the shoulder blade onto the back body as you twist your chest up to the sky. Inhale, reach up and over. Exhale, cactus. Inhale. Exhale. This time, inhale, both arms reach up skyward. Exhale to the other side, left hand down, right arm over. Stay for your inhale, reach a little longer. Exhale, cactus the arm, shoulder blade on the back body, gaze up as you open the chest. Inhale, return to your side body stretch. Exhale, cactus and open. One more, inhale. Exhale. Here's the change. Inhale, reach up with both hands. Exhale, we fold over the legs. So once again, you create that connection with the back of your sitting bones to your mat. From the chest forward. From there, you hinge forward and fold. And when there's no more length, that's when you curl in. Then slowly back out of this and make your way into a tabletop position, however you would like to get there. Find the hips over top of the knees. Find the wrists underneath the shoulders. From here, as you inhale, reach the right arm up high to the sky. Stay on your exhale. Firm the core in. Press down into both knees and into the left hand. Then I want you to squeeze the right shoulder blade onto the back body. And from there, notice that extra opening across the chest. One more inhale. Exhale, thread the needle, lower, right outer shoulder down, right ear down as you take the right palm face up underneath the left arm. Choose to stay, or this left hand can start to float, and maybe the thumb turns behind you as you bend into the elbow and do your best to crawl the left fingertips to the inner right thigh. Slowly begin to unwind. Place the left palm down. Take an inhale as you sweep the right arm up tall. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, find the left arm sweeping to the sky. Pause here on your exhale. Push down through the connected limbs. And then without twisting any more from the spinal column, firm up the core and then pull the left shoulder blade back. One more breath in. Exhale, thread the needle, take the left arm underneath the right palm face up as you lower the outer shoulder, the outer side of the head down onto the ground. Choose to stay as you are, or lift this right hand, sweep it behind you as you reach for the inner edge of the left thigh with the right fingertips. Slowly unravel, unwind, place the right hand down. Inhale, sweep the left arm up tall. Exhale, reset, find your tabletop. All 10 toes curl under, start to hover the knees as you send the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. And moving from a tabletop to a down dog might be very short in the body. So if you'd like, lengthen out a little bit. Walk the palms and the feet away from each other. And then from here, immediately go into some movement. Bicycle your heels up and off the ground. Bend generously into one knee and then the other. And then pause in stillness as you let both heels sink heavy towards the earth. And if you keep a small bend in your knees, it's perfectly fine. You're still capable and are doing downward facing dog. Find the press through all 10 fingers, emphasis on the pointer finger and thumb. Hold the ears in between your biceps. From here, start to lift the heels off the ground, come onto the balls of the feet, the toes, and then find that bend in the knees as you work to send the hips up even higher. Push through the palms as you send the chest, the ears through the biceps and maybe a little closer towards the top of your thighs. This is more unstable, so stay strong. Pause for an inhale. As you exhale, start to round and ripple through the upper back as you slide yourself forward into a high plank position. Shoulders over wrists, heels over the balls of your feet. Now, there should be some dome action in the back part of the body right here to open up the back space of the heart. So press through the hands like you want to separate the shoulder blades on the back body. Take an inhale. Exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. 2 more just like that. So inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, hike the hips a little more as you send the chest, the ears through the biceps, belly to tops of the thigh. Exhale, use your strength, ripple forward as you lead with the back of your heart to find your strong plank. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. 1 more. Inhale, heels high, knees bend, hips high, chest, belly to thigh. Exhale, ripple forward, lead with the back of the heart for plank. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. From here, bring your gaze to the top of your mat and walk yourself forward to find a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach through the crown, reach through the back of your hips, shoulder blades on the back body, heart is open. Exhale, come on down. We take 2 more with breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, halfway rise. This time, stay on your exhale, firm the core in. Sweep the arms out to the side and then forward. Take the biceps behind the ears, firm up the core a little more. Or take a breath in. Exhale, stand up, mountain pose. Hands to heart. And lower the thumbs to your heart space. Fantastic work. From here, inhale, sweep the arms up high to the sky. Exhale, sink into the hips. The knees will bend as you make your way into chair pose. Yogi's choice if you want your toes to be together or if you want your feet to be hip-width distance apart. Use your entire foot. I'm also talking about your toes, but at the same time, drive the energy down into the heels and then feel the back body light up with that engagement. Knees go in the same line as your toes. Stay low, take an inhale. Exhale, sweep the arms behind you, interlace the fingers, extend through the knuckles and lift the chest. If you'd rather, you can interlace the forearms instead. Opposite palm grabs near opposite elbow. If you have the clasped hands, see if you can lift the thumbs away from the lower body. Take a breath in. As you exhale, hinge forward from the hips as you come into a fold. If your forearms are bound, you can keep the bind at the forearms in the lower back. Or if you want some assistance, take a towel or a shirt in between the hands as you then find yourself in your full bind. Make a little bit more space for the shoulders and the chest area. As you stay low in your fold, tuck your chin in towards your chest. Shift the weight forward slightly into the balls of the feet. There should be a very tiny bend in your knees, maybe a generous one. And then keeping the weight more forward in the toes, start to lift your hips up a little higher. You may notice a lot of resistance at the backs of the knees. Relax through the shoulders. Let the thumbs fall over top the head. With just as much control as you came into the pose, slowly release the hands as you come out of the pose. Take an inhale, halfway lifts. Exhale, palms down, walk yourself back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Open mouth. Inhale, sweep the right leg up high, find 3-legged dog. Exhale, step or walk your foot in between your hands. Lower the foot in between palms. Back knee comes down. Inhale, sweep the arms up high to the sky to find your low lunge. You have your right knee somewhere behind the right toes. Find the push down with the left knee forward. And then that pull back with the right heel slightly back. Take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, sweep the arms behind you, left thumb on top of right or left forearm on top of right as you find your bind. Inhale, lift the thumbs away from the lower body, gaze up. Exhale, slowly release the hands, bring them down to the ground. Back toes under, float the knee. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, take the toes down, downward facing dog. Inhale, send the left leg up high. Exhale, step or walk through. Back knee comes down. Inhale, palms reach up skyward. Find that push and pull in opposition as the heel and the knee come together underneath you for strength. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sweep behind you, right forearm on top of left or right forearm on top of left. Inhale, move the thumbs away from the lower body. Exhale, hands come down. Back knee floats. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step or walk through. Back knee stays lifted this time. Left heel over top, left ball of the foot. Energize through the left leg. Strong through the right. Inhale, palms, chest, rise to the sky to find your high lunge. Keep the low belly scooping in here. Find strength at your center. That's your control space. Big inhale, reach through the palms. Exhale, split the arms on the horizon as you twist your chest towards the right. In your twist, keep the core active the entire time. Help to keep the twist coming from the thoracic spine versus the lower back, the lumbar. Reach the fingertips away from each other and that activity on the back of the right shoulder blade as you squeeze the shoulder blade farther behind you and feel that slight more opening across the front body. Inhale, we'll exalt the lunge. Take the left hand up, the right hand back, and maybe it taps the left thigh. Keep the generous bend in the front knee, and with that little tap of finger to thigh, you energize a little bit more through the left leg. Keep the core in strong as you let the left arm reach up even taller. Big inhale. Exhale, just the left hand on the inside of left foot. Right arm reaches up. Squeeze the shoulder blade back right here. Nice work. And then maybe let the palm, the inner arm, the chest fall open a little more as the knuckles reach further behind you. One more inhale. Exhale with control. Right palm comes down. Step back, three-legged dog. And lower, right toes down, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step or walk through. Back knees lifted, energize the right leg as you keep the heel over the ball of the foot. Left leg is strong. Inhale, rise up to find your lunge. Now your lunge can be a little shallow. I definitely prefer the shallow lunge, or you can have an extremely generous lunge. It just depends on what you feel like works in your body today. Take an inhale. Exhale, arms split open on the horizon. Use your core strength to help you twist over to the left. Fingertips reach away from each other and slide that left shoulder blade further behind you. Lots of activity and engagement here. Inhale, exalt your lunge. Right arm up. Left hand back, and maybe the fingertips tap the back of the right thigh. Re-energize through the right leg. Stay strong in the center. Take another inhale. Reach, reach, reach up high. Exhale, right hand down on the inside of the left foot and take the left arm tall. You stay or you find that activity, left shoulder blade on the back body, and then maybe let the chest fall open a little more as the knuckles come further behind you. Slow with control, lengthen up. And take the left hand down. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Open mouth. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step or walk through. Back heel will lower 90 degrees. Inhale, windmill your arms up on the horizon to find warrior two. You have the right knee somewhere behind the right toes. Press down through both feet as if you want to pull the heels in and feel the inner legs ignite. Left toes line up with the back edge of your mat and they face away towards maybe one of the walls or one of the points of the world, wherever you're practicing. Gaze over right fingertips. Flip the palms face up. Feel the head of the humerus roll back towards the center of the joint. Keep it there, just the palms flip down. Openness across the front body. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reach back as you flip both palms to face the back of your mat. So left palm face up, right palm face behind you to reverse your warrior. This left arm starts to lift. Turn the thumb face down, palm faces away. Bend into the elbow as perhaps you start to let the knuckles rest on the outer right hip for your bound reverse warrior. Take another inhale, sink further into the front knee, reach back with the right hand. As you exhale, keep the bind, lower the right forearm on the inside of the right thigh. You're welcome to rest the elbow, but do you see what happens when I do that? My upper body has to come further forward on the horizon, and this runs the risks of me clasping into my side body and into my shoulders. So I actually recommend the core strengthening position. I have to lift my side body off the top of my thigh a little more, pull the belly in, eliminate any hint of a back bend, and I don't really have that support, but it keeps my side bodies nice and long. The point of the bind is to open through the chest, so continue to roll the left shoulder back in space. If you notice you're clasping, then don't come as deep into the bind. For those of you that want to work on a full bind, you might need a little more space in between the legs as you get lower on the horizon. Right arm dives underneath the right leg to grab onto the fingertips, and same thing here with the chest. Maybe you find that towel, that strap or shirt in between the hands to help you achieve your bind. I'm going to hold in the half bind right here. My gaze turned up to help encourage this openness across my front body. We hold in stillness with that challenge to breathe and stay steady and comfortable in the pose. Binds begin to unwind. Arms level on the horizon, gaze over right fingertips. One more time, inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, palms down. Step back, inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step or walk through. Back heel down 90 degrees. Inhale, windmill open to find your warrior two. So check in with the feet, find that push down and that pull in. You should feel lots of activity in the lower body. And then from the left glute, use it to help spin the inner left thigh higher to the sky. And you'll notice your knee will push out about 1/2 centimeter. Instead of you just blindly pushing the knee out, go there with your muscular strength. Arms reach level, palms flip up, flip the head of the humerus back into the center of the joint, and just the palms face down. Find openness across the front body. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse. Left palm face behind you, right palm face up. Keep the intention of your pose, the strong bend in the front knee. Start to lift this right hand, thumb face down. Bend the elbow as the forearm sweeps behind you, and rest the knuckles on the outer left hip. Take another inhale, bend further into the front knee, reach back with the left hand. Exhale, lateral angle with your bind. Left hand just kind of dangles on the inside of the left leg. If you do want to come here for more support, I recommend the legs to be nice and far apart so that you're not finding this curving and crunching in the side body. You're staying nice and long, nice and lifted through the chest. Curl the low belly under. Eliminate any hint of a back bend. Continue to roll the right shoulder back in space. Perhaps gaze up to the sky to help encourage that openness across the front side of the body. If you'd like to work on a full bind, I recommend the feet be a little farther apart. Dive the left hand underneath the left leg as you reach for the fingertips. They bind behind you as you roll the shoulder back and gaze up. Option to find that towel, that shirt or strap in between the hands, just to give yourself more space as you come into the full bind. I'll hold here with you. Keep the breath alive and flowing. Full integrity of the pose. Full focus in this space right here. Re-engage in the places that may start to lax. Here we go. Binds start to unwind. One more time. Inhale. Reverse your warrior. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, three-legged dog, left leg goes tall. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Open mouth. Nice work. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, half pigeon. Make a number 7 with your legs as you lower the outer calf down underneath the chest, underneath the belly, or underneath the hips. Uncurl the back toes. And you're welcome to keep this right foot active, but if the shin is not parallel with the top edge of your mat, you don't need to flex your foot. You can actually point the foot and flex the toes if you would like. Perfectly fine. So stay a little more upright here. Use the engagement of the legs as you squeeze everything in. Look at that. Feel yourself lift up. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, sweep the hands behind you. Right thumb on top of left as you find your bind or your forearm bind, and lift the thumbs away. Option to keep the bind as you melt back into your hips. Fold forward. And maybe start to take the knuckles above the head. One more breath in. Slow exhale, slow release. Push into the hands as you start to lift the chest back up. Take an inhale. Exhale, stay. Option 2, pause as you are, or maybe you take this right hand behind you and you do your best to reach for the right toes on the outer part of the left hip. I know it's a big one. You can stay, maybe if you're working on your bound up king pigeon, you start to bend into the back knee, reach up, and receive the toes. Maybe you pause this video and you work on that with a strap around the toes. And if you would prefer to hang out in your full half pigeon as you rest over the legs, go for it. Slowly start to release and unwind. Right hand comes back to your mat, left toes under. Inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg tall. Exhale, find your half pigeon. Set yourself up here. Do what works in your body. And then use your strength to lift yourself here nice and strong. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms behind you, left thumb on top of right. Extend through the knuckles, lift the chest, maybe move the thumbs away. You stay here or begin to fold forward nice and slow as you relax into the legs. Forehead can come down as the thumbs move up overhead. You're here for one inhale. Slow exhale, release the hands down. Inhale, push yourself back up. Stay here on the exhale. You're welcome to fold forward and sleep your pigeon, or this left hand reaches behind you, knuckles on the outer right hip, and maybe you do your best to find your left toes. Stay, or perhaps you work on that bound up, twisted king pigeon. Maybe you pause the video, find a strap around your toes, and work from there. You breathe a few rounds of breath. Slowly unwind. Left hand will lower down, back toes under, float the knee. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, toes down, downward facing dog. Take an inhale. Open mouth. Lower the knees to your mat. Find yourself in a seated position. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, open the heart up. As you exhale, round through the upper back, maybe even the mid back as well, exaggerate it. Inhale, completely open through the body. Exhale, close. One more inhale. Exhale. This time on your inhale, find your seat. Eyes may close or soften towards the top of your mat. Palms gently rest on the tops of your legs. Let the heart lift and the shoulder blades fall back. Your breath begins to slow. Allow gentleness to wash over in mind and in body. Take your left hand to heart. Take your right hand to belly. Find your natural breath. Notice where it goes. Shift your focus. Inhale, fill the chest. Fill the belly. Exhale through belly. Exhale through chest. Inhale, inflate the chest. Fill into the belly. Exhale, belly. Exhale, chest. One more inhale. Exhale. This time, inhale, inflate the belly. Move the breath into the chest. Exhale, chest. Exhale, belly. Inhale, inflate into the belly. Lift the chest, find your breath. Exhale through chest, through belly. One more. Inhale, fill the abdomen. Then fill into the chest. Exhale, chest, belly. Refine your natural rhythms. Notice if the breath feels different. Then let your inhales and exhales become less full. Something much closer to natural, everyday breath. Release your hands to the tops of your thighs. Allow your palms to touch and lift your thumbs to your heart space. Lift the heart a little closer towards the thumbs as the shoulder blades fall back. Thank you so much for practicing with me today.